When you move from the manager level to the executive level, there are three mindset shifts that you absolutely have to make in order to be successful. My name is Tom, and I'm the founder of the Executive Career Accelerator here at Vertical Motion, where we help professionals become executives. If that's interesting to you, down in the description, you'll see a link where you can schedule a call with me. We can talk about how you can move from the professional level to the executive level. With that, let's talk about today the three mindset shifts that you have to make in order to become an effective executive. When you're a manager, you're thinking about your team and the resources that you actually manage. You're thinking about the inputs and the outputs of your specific part of the system. So you are managing typically people, resources such as vehicles or equipment or computer bandwidth or what have you, right? You are a manager. You literally manage things. But you are told what to manage. You are told how to manage. You are told to manage to these levels, to manage from A to B, right? It's basically you, just like an individual contributor, you are given a task and your job is to do that task well. Individual contributors are really good at managing the work that they're assigned, and then really good managers are good at managing the resources that they're assigned. That has nothing to do with being an executive. And that is mindset shift number one. Executives are not super managers. This is an entirely different type of employment. When you go from being a manager or even a director up to vice president or C-suite, you are making another change in your career. Just like you went from individual contributor to manager, now you're going from manager to executive, and these are two very different roles. It's really important that you understand this. This mindset shift is incredibly important. It's the one that most people don't make, which is why they stand there wondering, why do I keep getting passed over for promotion to vice president? How come other people are getting promoted to vice president? How come I don't get a call back? How come I didn't do well in that interview? I'm an amazing manager. I'm a great, effective manager of people. I'm a great leader. It's because you're missing this mindset shift, which is executives are not super managers. They're an entirely different type of role. As an executive, you have to be thinking about the big picture. You have to be thinking about teams and individuals and all of the other things as large systems. Executives basically manage systems. They don't manage people. Now, of course, as a vice president, you have direct people underneath of you who then manage people as well. So you do have that manager task, but you're doing something even higher than just managing. That's just part of your job. At the executive level, you are thinking about the big picture and how it all connects. When you go from manager to executive, you have to learn how all of the systems inside and outside of the organization all interconnect, how they all work together. And you as the executive are the one who puts those systems together or reorganizes those systems to be more effective, or changes and creates new systems based on changes in the marketplace. A manager is looking down at their organization. An executive is looking up out into the world. So those are all part of this first mindset shift, which is super important to make. Executives are not super managers. They are a different type of employee. Mindset shift number two that executives have to make in order to be successful is to make decisions. You have to decide. The best types of decisions that executives make are the ones where they didn't make the decision. They just agreed with the decision that was made by their very empowered team. But at the end of the day, it's still the executive who has to give the final say-so and go ahead. The worst thing that you can do as an executive is stand still. When a decision has to be made and you don't know which one to make, as an executive, this is an important mindset shift that you have to make. Movement is your friend. Making a decision in one direction or another is better than standing still. If there's a situation where you have to make a decision, you have to choose A or B, choose the one that makes the most sense to you. Test for it to make sure that that was the right decision. If you can backtrack from that decision after you've realized it was the wrong decision, go the other way. Be willing to admit that you made a mistake. You made the best decision that you could make given the information that you had in the moment, but now you've realized there's new information that's telling you the other way is the way to go. Stop, turn around, apologize, tell people, hey, we made a mistake, we have to go the other way now, and do that. Be very clear and transparent about why. Don't hide from the fact that you made a mistake. Just go ahead and admit, hey, I made a mistake. We actually need to go this way. The sooner you turn around, the more likely you'll get to where you're trying to go. It's like driving a car and you're on a highway and you choose the wrong exit. Do you just keep going in the wrong direction, hoping nobody realizes how bad you've messed up? No. You turn around and get back on the right exit. So why would you do this in your career? I see this all the time, and it's infuriating when executives get paralyzed. They don't want to be wrong. You're going to be wrong. As an executive, there is zero chance that you will go through your executive career without making a mistake. So get comfortable making those mistakes. Make the decisions. You cannot stand there in paralysis and hope that someone else will just come along and fix it. You are where the buck stops. And so as an executive, you have to be willing to make decisions on less information than you have. For mindset shift number 3, executives cannot be good individual contributors. So if you're an executive and your job is to see the world and understand where the organization is going, let's say that you're in charge of marketing and your job is to basically bring the company's awareness in front of millions of people, right? You can't also do the marketing scripting. You can't also do all of the content. You can't do all of the scheduling, right? Which is a manager's job. You can't do the actual copywriting, which is an individual contributor's job. If you try to do all of these things, you will suck at all of them. Good executives know that they have to delegate their work to individual contributors, even if those individual contributors don't do the work as well as you do. One of the worst scenarios in organization is when a really good individual contributor gets promoted to manager. They suck as a manager, they hate being a manager, and now they can't do the individual contribution work that they loved. Everyone thinks that's a reward for being a great individual contributor. Wrong, it's not. You're helping them grow in their career, but to what end? You've now taken your best individual contributor and put them in a role that they're not comfortable in. The same thing can happen when you take a manager who's great at managing resources and make them an executive, and they have no idea what they're doing. They don't have a strategic mindset. They don't have a big vision for the world. They don't have the ability to delegate and give proper feedback and adjust systems. They don't know how to do those things. They just know how to manage resources. They don't know how to change the direction of the resources. This is what you have to be careful about. When you move to the executive level, you're not a manager anymore. You're not an individual contributor anymore. You should not be doing the work. You should be managing the teams who create the output. And really, by managing the teams, all you're doing is making sure that the managers of those teams have everything that they need to be successful, and that the managers are moving the teams in the direction that you think that they should be moving. As an executive, your job is to make sure that the organization is going in the right direction. How can you be looking out the windshield when you're back here working on the motor? It doesn't make sense. You can't do both well, so pick one. And if you're going to be an executive, be an executive. Don't be an overpowered individual contributor. And now I'm going to give you a bonus mindset. You have to be optimistic about the future. Pessimism is not going to get you anywhere in an executive role. We don't hire pessimistic executives because executives, their job is to grow the organization, to take us into the future, to help us understand where the world is going, where the industry is going, where the organization should be going. And so if you are a pessimistic person who by nature just says, well, that won't work, this isn't going to happen, I don't think this is the wrong team, we can't really go after this, that's too frightening, that's not scary, or that's too scary to try. Like, if you have that attitude, you're not going to be an effective executive. You need to be excited about the future. What's out there? What's possible? Yes, it might fail. 80% of the things that companies try to do fail, but the 20% keep us in business. So those 3 mindsets are what I wanted to talk to you about today. When you move from manager to executive, mindset 1 is you're not just a super manager, you have different skills in executive, which means that you are going out there and understanding how the world works. Mindset 2 is that you have to make decisions. You can't stand still. And mindset 3 is that executives don't make for good individual contributors. You have to be an executive, not an individual contributor and an executive. And then finally, like I said, be optimistic, because that's what's going to get you the job. That's what's going to keep you engaged in the role, even when times get hard, because they always do. And optimists are the ones who survive the hard times more than the pessimists. That's what I got for you today. I hope this was helpful. I will see you in the next video. Take care.